There are key components and key ingredients in the recipe of a student mentality. Number one, you need to be disciplined. The future is very expensive, and only those who are carriers of discipline can inherit the future. I need you to stay motivated. I don't care if you have to listen to me 1,000 times. I need you to stay motivated. And I need to...
You see me now. If we are just going to look at what the complex numbers, grade 12, is very important to bear on your mind that is whereby we are just going to look at what the combination of real numbers as well what the imaginary numbers, okay? Therefore, team, the word complex numbers is just indicate that, or it just means that we are just going to look at what the combination of two things. It's just what the combination of two things, where we are just going to look at what the real numbers, okay? This is a combination of real numbers as well what the marginal what numbers, okay? This is a combination of two things. Then we have a combination of real numbers as well what the marginal numbers, okay? Then but actually in grade 12 on the technical math, we are just going to consider only what the imaginary numbers, okay? Then the imaginary numbers, we normally say that the imaginary numbers are those numbers under the square root sign that have what? A negative, okay? We call any number under the square root sign is what? A imaginary numbers. Those are non-real numbers. Those numbers that are not what? Existing. Then we call them a imaginary number. When you are just pressing the calculator, then the calculator always give you what? The antified. But here in grade 12, we are just going to make those numbers to be alive. Then by using what? The rules of what? Of complex numbers, grade 12. All right. Please make sure that you write down. This is gonna help you a lot. Okay. Then when someone asks you what is a complex numbers, we are just going to tell that person that a complex numbers is a combination of real numbers as well what the imaginary numbers, okay? Therefore, when we are just talking about the imaginary numbers, we are just talking about what? All non-real numbers, those numbers that are not what? Existing. Therefore, we call them a non-real. When you are just pressing the calculator, then they are just gonna give you what? The antified, okay? Then for example, this is an example of imaginary numbers. This is a what? Example of imaginary numbers. The imaginary numbers is whereby we are just going to look at what? Any number under the square root sign, that number if is negative. Therefore, on your mind now must ring out what? The imaginary numbers, okay? Therefore, for imaginary numbers, you can see that this is the imaginary numbers only if we have the variable that is very, very important, that indicate what? The imaginary numbers. We have the variable in technical mathematics that indicate this variable is just what? The variable that indicate what? The imaginary numbers. Then which those variable grade 12 is whereby we are just talking about what? I, okay? I in grade 12 is just indicate what? The imaginary number. Then in mathematics, we normally say that I is always equals what? Root -1. It's very important to put on your mind, okay? This I is always equal. If you don't want to say a square root of -1, you can say it's equals what? I, okay? This I is just a sign or a symbol that indicates this is what? The imaginary numbers grade 12. It's very important to take this, okay? Then after that, then when we are just doing the mathematics now, we are just solving this equation, because now this is an equation, all right, grade 12. This is an equation. What is the equation, Manier? Is whereby we are just talking about what? Any sum that of what? The equal sign. If that sum of the equal sign, it just means that left hand side is equal to what? Right hand side. Therefore is equal. Then we call it the equation now, grade 12. Okay. Then what we're going to do here, when you're just going to want to solve this equation now, then you can say that I I is going to be equals what? -1. Then you can put the square on both sides. You can put what? The square on both sides. Then therefore, we're going to draw a conclusion that I squared is going to be equals to what? -1, because this squared is going to cancel this one. Then we come out the new rule. Now we have two rules. I is equals to root -1, as well I squared is equals to -1. Where's I squared coming from? It's just coming from when you're just solving what the equation. Do you see that? Therefore, that means that if we have a square root of -1, you are allowed to put what I, as well what if you have I squared, you are allowed to put what -1. Then after that, you're just going to do what the rules of adding, subtracting, or multiplying of numbers. Okay, then whereby you're just going to what is to solve. Okay, therefore we call these two rules, they are just going to indicate that this is a imaginal numbers. Then you need to follow what the rule that is just going to leads you to what? To the regular form, okay? To the rectangular what form, okay? Therefore, let's go grade 12. I, you can solve I, and the I, you can what? You can write a sum in terms of what? In terms of I. Then we call it is the I notation, okay? Is the I what in notation, where we are just simplifying a number under the square root sign that is negative in a form of what? I notation, okay? Therefore, how are we going to do that, Mr. Good? It's very, very simple, okay? It's very, very simple. All right, let's go, grade 12. This I, grade 12, is very, very important to take note that. Then if an exponent, let me write here. If an exponent, a number that's represented here in the value of A, if an exponent is an even number, if an exponent is an even what? Even number. If an exponent is an even number. If an exponent is an even number, like we have the example of even number, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. These are all what? Even numbers. Okay, what is the even numbers? Are all numbers that are exactly divisible by 2, and you are no longer going to get what? The remainder. Then how are we going to see that is an even number? If a number is just going to end with 2, 4, 6, 8, and also 0. Therefore, we call that number is a what is the even number. Okay. Therefore, if an exponent, take it this one, is very important. If an exponent is an even number, therefore the solution in a form of what I, then it's just going to be what? Positive. A solution, we are just going to get what is the positive solution. Let me write here. The solution is going to be what? A positive what? A positive solution. All right, then the answer that you are just going to get when you're just solving the value of I is going to be what? A positive what? Solution. Just going to be a positive answer. But if the value of I, if the exponent is an what? Odd number, is very important to take note of this one. If an exponent now, the value that you're going to put here in a form of what? Exponent is an odd number. For example, what is the odd number, Mr. Good? For example, if we have 3 and we have 5 and we have 7 and we have 9 and we have 11 and we have 13. These are the set of what? Odd numbers. These are the set of odd numbers. If an exponent is in the form of what? Odd numbers, bear in your mind that your solution now is just going to be what? A negative what? Solution. Grade 12. It's very, very important to take note of that. This solution is going to be what? Is going to be what? negative. Then here we are just going to get what? A negative. This is gonna be what? A negative solution. That is gonna lead us to what? To the negative solution. Okay, then now how many rules that I gave you? I gave you 4 rules. The first rule I gave you is what? It's a root of negative number that is equal to what? I. Okay, a root negative 1 is gonna be equal to I, as well what? I squared is equal to negative 1, as well what? I gave you 2 rules that are just based on what? Exponents. Therefore, that the first rule say that if an exponent is an even number, the solution must be what? Positive. If an exponent is an odd number, the solution must be what? Must be negative. Which those odd numbers is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Okay, then now let's go to the workings. Let's go to the workings. Let's go to the workings now. Wow, how are we going to do this? In the form of what now? Imaginary numbers. We're going to do what? The workings now. A workings. Mr. Good. Mr. Good. Let's do what? The workings now. Okay? Then, all right. Okay, number 1, we're just going to solve the value of what? I imaginary what? Number. Please, imaginary number is very important to note how we're going to solve what? The imaginary numbers. The first one. This is the first example. This is the first example. Then in the exam, they're just going to say that simplify the following without using what? A calculator. They are just going to say that simplify the following. Simplify the following without what? Without using a calculator. Without using the calculator. Okay, then how are we going to do this calculator? How are we going to solve? If we have a is raised to 3, and we have b raised to I is raised to 4, and we have c is raised to 7, and we have D, which is I is raised to 8. Okay, simplify the following with